Hello, YouTube world. My name is Anthony Long. Welcome back to the Bluegrass Picker channel. Okay. Hey, Bo, there's people going to come back. Watch. Shut up. Crazy Train, Ozzy Osbourne. All aboard! I. Crazy. Well, that's how it goes. Millions of people living it slow. Maybe it's not too late to learn how to love, forget all the hate. Oh, that's hard. uh, that's fun. Can't believe I can play Randy Rhoads song. What up, Craig? How you doing? Little bluegrass. So people do know I play bluegrass. That no one really likes it, but I love it. Unless you're colorblind and everything's blue and there is no green. Just saying. I'm not colorblind. My buddy was. I always thought it was weird. He's like, yeah, grass is blue to me, but since everybody I know I love tells me it's green, color I don't see, I have to trust them. But the type of grass down in Kentucky, when you kind of look at it, it has like a haze of a bluish color. That's why. Led Zeppelin. If the sun refused to shine, I would still be lonely. Mountains grow to the sea breeze, they would still be lonely. How goes it? It's been raining for 3 days here. Thunderstorms, really. So it happens this time of year pretty much every year for us. It becomes Kentucky here. I bet it's rained 5 inches. It's crazy. How's the weather? Where are you at? You're on the East Coast, aren't you? Like North Carolina? I can't remember. Do. In case anybody wants to see it, I'm gonna post this to Facebook so my friends. No garage sailing today. Coffee. Yeah, yard sale treasure map is no more. I saw it the other day. I went to go on it and had some sign says, "Hey, we cannot take from Craigslist anymore," which is frustrating. It made it so much easier. Had it all right there. Didn't have to investigate. It's almost, I don't know. It's just easier to coordinate. Now it'll just be like, I'll go like I used to and go look through Craigslist or Facebook and then kind of like pick the best one or two and then go there and then just start going to the other places after that. But I think a lot of people do that. So we all end up going to the same places. Anymore, I guess I've got so good at sourcing, I don't really need to source much anymore. It's easy to source sports cars and they get sent right to your house. So that just makes it easier. trying to go find what you don't even know is there or not makes it a lot harder. But I like the treasure hunt. It's fun if I have time. Garage sales will always be the best. Estate sales are ran by people like us. You rarely get a great deal, at least where I'm at. It looks like it's supposed to get warm next week, 60 degrees. Once it's 50 degrees at night, grass starts growing. I was going to show how to kind of figure out what autographs on sports cards are best to buy, because if you are going to buy them, you really need to know which ones are worth it or not, because there's some that people just think that all autographs are the same, and that's just not true. So I kind of want to wait till some more people get in here and then kind of show people a little bit if they do decide to buy them. And if they get one, like maybe in a break, and they hold on to something that's not worth something, I want them to get rid of it, kind of deal. I want people to know what to invest in. Too many people just buy autographs, sports cards, not thinking about that stuff, and they don't know. It's taken me years to figure all that stuff out, but I was on a Facebook group the other day, and someone posted a Mike Tyson autograph, and I'm like, he's like, yes, this should be worth a ton of money. I was like, I hate to tell you, it's probably not. It's just an awesome piece, but it's, if it doesn't have some of the criteria, it's really not worth it, because most people are going to sell it like it is. So when you're buying it, yeah. I've had some pretty bad autos before that I've gotten in breaks. That was like, gee whiz, you think they just would have thrown this card away? I see all these vintage, like the storage auction people. I see them posting. They'll put up like old matchbooks. A lot of people collected matchbooks back in the day because it has advertisements on it. But this I thought's really cool. And this is a matchbox from way back. And it still has all the matches in there. Thought this is a cool piece. I don't know how old this is, but I'd guess 60s. Probably earlier, just by the way that it looks. I don't see any writing or anything on it, though. And this is assorted corks. Assorted corks from like the 70s, I think. Yeah. Kind of neat. Little bitty ones. I had these in my booth. I figured I might as well put them out on eBay. I might get more money. People like this really vintage stuff. Of course, it's kind of beat up. Always a wiseacre. It got me beat up, darn it. Well, if no one gets in here, I might as well just do it anyway. Screw it. Hey Jen, how you doing? Do it, I'm here. Thanks, Jen. I appreciate you. I don't ever schedule this stuff because I don't know when I'm going to do it. I don't like to hold myself to that. Life's freaking hard enough. I'll give it a few minutes. So what's Jen doing today? Chilling at home. It's been raining so much here, we can't do anything. It's sucks. But this time of year, it always rains a ton. Good thing, because then July is toasted here. So if we don't get a lot of rain in March, April, we're screwed. Is it raining there too? I mean, I think it's been raining for 3 days. They're calling for another couple of days of rain. Yeah, I don't think people talk about Seattle and how it sucks to be in Seattle because of the rain. I think it's being cloudy. It's not having sunlight. I think is the biggest problem. It's not really the rain. It's just the sunlight is very important. That's all you do. Chill at home. Cheaper. This is cool. I got this at a Mr. Buys a Lot auction. He had a bunch of ashtrays. Thought that was kind of cool. It's like got rocks embedded in it too. It's kind of weird. It says genuine. No, it's petrified wood. Is what that is. Huh. Shellacked on there. Gee whiz. Population Go City. Jerome, Arizona. I've already sold one. I've already made 2/3 of my money back on it. 70s. Oh, you're in Delaware, aren't you? Yeah, it's coming. Good. Yeah, it's coming your way. Let me look at that radar. Maybe it's south of you. 51, 60% chance of rain. Wow, it's raining. It's just still in the Midwest, though. Good night. Let's see. Thunderstorms next 2 days. Can't mow when it's this wet. My sister got me this shirt. One of my favorites ever. Where are you going to put did you bring a chainsaw? Bong. I saw someone carrying their baby and they're walking backwards. I guess because the rain's coming at them. That was weird. And then 10 more people. I live in a weird place. What's going on? Anyway. You hope it misses. Yeah, well. Yeah, we need the rain right now, but I just don't want it to rain freaking 6 days in a row. Stupid. Well, let's get to it. Why not? People can watch it on a replay. I doubt it, but differences on autographs. The things I didn't know when I first started buying them. You just see the autograph, you're like, ooh, cool. And then one of the first things you learn is, thanks, Jen. And then one of the first things you learn is, you want the autograph to be full without breaking on the ink. See how that's basically perfect. He laid it down and never came up. And then the pen worked the entire time. And you find a lot of times that ink will kind of, if they don't have a good pen, it'll come off. But when these companies, they give them really good pens, and then they usually get rid of the crappy ones. And so that's one of the biggest things is, and let me see if I have one. It's hard to see, but in the L, yeah, you can't see it there. That's the unfortunate thing is I don't buy those autographs anymore, so I don't have anything to share. Hey, how's it going, Harry? So I don't really have anyone to show you a bad one, but it's just when the ink splits in the middle, it's light in the middle, and then dark on the outside. Those won't grade very good. That'll grade a 9 pretty much every time. And 48 to go. Oh, subscribers. Yeah. I need so many watch hours. It doesn't even matter. I don't care. But I appreciate it. Yeah. It's cool that people just want to watch, honestly. But here's the biggest example of one of the mistakes that I still have that I've never sold that I didn't know about at the beginning. And I'm glad I learned it. And I was showing a guy because he was in a Facebook group, and he was showing me how he had this Mike Tyson autograph on a card, and he was so happy that it was worth thousands. And I go, well, dude, it's probably worth some good money no matter what, but the autograph was just like this. And you can see how the card covers up the C. See the bottom C? It's the actual card is cutting it off. It's kind of hard to see. And so it doesn't get, there you go. It doesn't get a full autograph. See, it comes back up here. So it kind of covers it up. And also too, he did break the ink up here. And so that autograph would be a 9 at best. And so that's why you wouldn't want to buy this, because it won't be gradable. I mean, if you could, it would be gradable, but it's not going to grade a 9. And an autograph that's 9 is just, you might as well break it off and resell it raw. So when you do go buy one, make sure it doesn't do that. It doesn't cover up the auto at all. It really just takes the value down a ton. And like these guys, they're perfectly done. And then here's the other difference. What's the difference between these two? This one is a sticker auto. This one is actually on the card. Sticker, see, you can see the sticker around it. It has Panini on it. So they just have a page full. The guy will just go through and write out all of his autographs, and then they take that sticker and slap it onto each card. But this one, he actually touched the card and wrote on it, and that makes it worth a lot more. So for a collector, they'll notice that. They won't typically, if you want to buy one for your personal collection, you're not going to buy the sticker one, because that's more of the average one. And plus on the auto, if it's numbered, that helps a lot. So if it's a sticker and it's numbered, then it's okay. It's better, but you still want, this is a rookie autograph on card. That makes it worth a ton more than the other ones. And then like these two, and this kind of shows you, this is something I want everybody to know. Someone like Pat Dees actually knows. All these new cards, it's awesome, but what they used to do back in 1981 Topps, what was it? 83 Topps, Tony Gwynn's rookie. There's only one version of his best rookie. The Fleer one doesn't really go for much. The Donruss, I don't know if there was one. I think there's maybe just 2. There's only 2 rookies of his. Now, I mean, like these are 2 different autographs of the same guy in the same version of this brand. There's so many other versions of this card, even in this brand. And then there's dozens more of autographs or of rookies in other Panini products. So they've watered down the products. So what I do is I buy old Hall of Fame rookies, because there's really less than there is these. And so you got to be careful now with like Zion and some of those guys. People are buying up. They're not really worth as much as, in my eyes, because they're not as valuable, because they produce so much of the, it's different versions and they number them and all this stuff, but there's so many of the variety, it kind of waters it down. So that's why I started going back and buying old Hall of Fame stuff, because that's harder to find, and that's harder to find graded, and harder to find just because there's just one version of them, even if they made a lot of them. But I always buy the Hall of Famers that are before 84, because they were still not mass produced. So just in case people want to know. And here's another one that's kind of cool. Different kinds of autographs. This is called a clear autograph. It's a clear card. You can see right through it. It's got the autograph. It's kind of neat. It's really neat. It should have sold already, but the problem is this. It's hard to take a picture of it. It's hard to take a picture of a clear autograph. And since this one was from the company, it's got the seal on it. So I can't take it out of the case. And so it's hard to get the light right. Otherwise, this thing would have sold because he's a rookie for the Dodgers who's going to be really good. The only reason he hasn't played is because the Dodgers pay a lot of money for their free agents. So he doesn't have any room to play. On most teams, he would already played by now. Also, just a couple little hints on if you decide to go buy autographs, or if you get an autograph in a card break or something like that, knowing which ones to actually keep and which ones to just sell. Because, I don't know, most of us don't know that. I didn't know it for years into doing things. Like when I first started doing Patrick Mahomes, you wouldn't believe some of the mistakes I made. As many awesome things I did, boy, I made some mistakes of cards that I could have got. Because another thing they do, okay, let's say 2020, what Panini does is their first one of the year after the draft on football, there'll be their first cards they release. It'll actually be all those guys in their college uniforms because they haven't decided. They don't know who they've been drafted by yet. So the first ones are kind of the least good ones. And then through the year, the version gets better and better and better every time they release a new version. And so when it wraps back, it's 2020 draft and it wraps back around, it comes to 2021. They're still putting out the 2020 stuff, but it's 2021 technically. You know what I mean? So they have to write 2021. So when I was buying up Mahomes autographs, there was some that would say 2018, but they were still the rookies, and I wasn't buying them because I was like, I don't know. I thought this was a rookie, but it can't be since it's a different year, and I just didn't know, and I passed it. But a lot of people did. People didn't understand it. A lot of them didn't because they were going cheap, and and I look back on it now, I'm like, oh crap, so many mistakes I could have, but I made so many good. I had made a lot of good decisions, so it's not that big a deal. That's funny. Yeah, but I don't know. This is some of the things that I wanted people to know. If they do get an autograph, what to mess with, because I've seen it a few times where people have asked questions and shown things, and I'm like, don't count on that being your money maker because it's not gradable, and if you can't grade it, it won't be worth. When you grade it, it comes up to PS 10 or 9. You're making it worth 10 times the amount, and they finally figured that out. Look at this, Harry. This is a Tim piece. He said it was antique, so it's over 100 years old. Boy, I didn't give it really justice, but this thing is beautiful. I love it. I bought it to put in my glass case at my antique store to kind of draw people in. But I'm like, I don't want to take it in. I'm keeping it. I mean, even the bottom was like perfect. It's weird. But I think I got this for like $24, $25 before shipping it. There's a little bit of a flaw here when they were making it, but not much. And this is another one I thought was kind of neat. This is a owl decanter. It's from Chile. It says it on the bottom. The country Chile. Man, there. And then it says something in Portuguese. Or is it Portuguese or is it Spanish? I can't remember. And you know how hot owls are. I thought it's cool. It has these like 4 symbols here, and it's got that. I don't know about you, but I love that patina look to it where it's like cracked. I love that. But anyway, it has even the old sticker on it. It's numbered even. 5616, product of Chileno. 50 grade alcohol. I just think it's so neat. I had it in my booth for like a year for like 25 bucks. Finally, I looked at it. I'm like, I don't want to sell that. I don't even, I think I got this for like $1 in a garage sale too. I mean, so cheap, but man, I love that. I think it's really cool. Of course, I can't get it out. I need to uncork it. Smell what kind of liquor it was. It's amazing what you can find in garage sales. This is another one. Alvin and the Chipmunks. I had them for 10 bucks a piece in my booths. Thought they would sell. And really, I just put them in there because I thought it might attract some people because stuff was going quick, but never sold. So I took it out, and I guarantee you they're going to go for more than 10 bucks a piece on eBay because this is the rich. This is like 1980. What was it? Well, could have swore. Yeah, 1983. CBS Toys. So I thought that was kind of neat. He's got the glasses. Well, anyway, I didn't buy it at a garage sale. This was free. It was in a box. Some lady was like, "Yeah, take anything in there. It's free." If I remember right, she had a wrapped. Yeah, she had a wrapped VHS tape. I remember thinking, "Sweet." Wrapped VHS tape. I'll throw with the VCR. I've learned that from Commonwealth Picker. Throw in some AV cables and a blank tape, and it helps it sell. And she had some like Elvis Presley stuff in there too. So I almost took the whole bin. And what was funny was she had all this stuff out, and I didn't like any of the stuff that she was trying to sell. But this stuff, I was like, okay, 1983, and it's like clean still. I'm like, okay. So it's funny. It's just like what you realize is they don't know. They don't know what's really worth anything either. It's just trying to get rid of like bulk. Where's Theodore? Yeah, I know. That's honest. Yeah, I was looking for her. I asked her to. Fishing and picking. Hey, thanks for joining. My first auto came in a cheap 1992 Fleer box set back in the 90s. I paid $4 for a Reggie White Fleer Authentic stamped card. I sold it in college for $100. $75,000. Reggie White, yeah, he was something else. But you know, if you would have kept it, maybe it would have got damaged. And you never would have sold it. Maybe it went to someone that was the biggest fan of his. That's what I think about too. You know, I think sometimes items want to go to the right places, and that's why it's kind of Tim over the years. That day, he's like, you know, what's weird? I like touch an item. It's been in my booth I've been in my store for a year. I'll touch an item, move it somewhere else, think about it. I'm like, wonder why it doesn't sell. Next day it'll sell. He's like, what is that? It's weird. It's almost like the items have their own personality or something. They want to go to where that's best fitted for them or something. I don't know. It's but who knows? Whatever. 75 bucks. It lost its value. Gotcha. Yeah, and that's a great lesson. It's funny. I said that same thing just the other day. What got me into sports cards in the first place? And this is good, since these are mostly my good fans here. Not a fan, but my good people that like me on YouTube. I'm born in 1976, and it was 1983. My dad, we moved out of our original house that I was born in, and he rented it out, but we would come back every summer and do work on it, scrape paint and paint anew. He wanted to paint it every year, I swear. And of course, I was made to scrape paint, and I didn't mind. I guess that was when, I look back on, that's why I think I didn't mind working. You just got it in your mind, and it's like, this is what you do. You work, and he would work me hard, but we would get treats. And so 1983, most people know, was Garbage Pail Kids' first year. And he was, even my dad, the preacher, would let me buy Garbage Pail Kids stickers. I still think back to that, and I'm like, I wonder, did he not look at them, or because my mom found them and she threw them all away. But I had the big stack. I had like almost all of them. Because you remember, you turned them over and it made a big puzzle, and I was really close to having them all, and she threw them all away. If I remember right, too, they stopped putting them out right before I got to collect them all. And so since I didn't have that, I started buying baseball cards. And so I bought the 83 Tops. Well, if you know 83 Tops, there was some really good rookies in there. And of course, most of them were beat up. I have one of those 83 Tops left. There's a Willie McGee, and it's so ripped up. I have my name A on it, even, of course. And she just threw them all away because she's like, "Oh, they're just all over the place in your toy box." And she was right; they were just everywhere. I didn't, back then you didn't think about that stuff, and so I started collecting those, and then throw them all away, and then I kind of stopped, and then 1986 rolls around. Well, my buddy, his dad was a wholesale dealer kind of guy. It was called Have a Snack, and I think all us old people know Have a Snack. I'll get to that in a second. Sorry, Swap. Have a Snack had a business back when it was like the honor system. It's still fascinating to think about. I remember going to the teacher's lounge, and you go to the teacher's lounge, and my mom was a bookkeeper in the school, and they'd have that box full of candy bars, chips, and all that stuff. You just put it in a quarter. You took your chips, and it was just they came by and pick it up and refill it. We had a business like that, and he did it up in Iowa and all this stuff. So we had a wholesale business, and back then that was the only way to get, sports cars and things like that. You had to have a license, a wholesale deal. And we talked him into it one year, like, buy us a box. He got us a box for if I remember, it was like $15 for a box of 86. He got us one of each, 86 Tops football, 86 Tops baseball. And I made a big mistake. And, it was like Christmas. And I think that's still stuck in my head, getting a whole box to open them, because before that, it's just you had $5. You might get 5 packs, but to have 36 packs to open and then another 36 packs to open, it was like Christmas times 10 for me. And we opened them all up, and we were talking about what we got and this and that, me and my buddy. We both got the same thing, two boxes, one box football, one box baseball. And he talked me into, he was a good salesman. He talked me into, well, you like baseball. Why don't you just take all the baseball and I'll just take your football. We should trade. I'm like, yeah, I like baseball more. And if anybody knows, 86 Tops baseball is not worth anything. 86 Tops football is worth a lot. So bad decision early. This is what I was getting to, the whole point. So 1986 Fleer, because of the fishing and picking story there, sorry. So 1986 rolls around. At the time, we could only get Tops in packs. And then they had this new gas station move in our area. I'm from a small town. I'm born in a town of 250 people. And the biggest town close to us was 5,000. And they had a new gas station come through. It was called Kerr McGee. And I think it was from up north or maybe even Canada, because they had different stuff in their store. And they actually had 1986 Fleer. And I was so happy because I had all the price guides, and I always heard about Fleer, but I never could find any. And I was so excited. So this 86 Fleer. So I bought like 3 or 4 packs. I got the rookie to get. I remember going through there and going, well, that's the card you want to get. It was Jose Canseco's rookie card. 1986. That card was worth $100. That card right now is worth $30. But ironically, that's the card that got me juiced. Then I saw myself as the guy that got lucky. I was lucky. I bought 3 packs. I got the $100 card. So now I'm trying to convince my dad that I know what I'm doing. I got this thing figured out a little bit, right? I'm 10 years old, and I show my dad, look at this, Dad. And back then, I didn't have a sleeve for it. I didn't even know what that is. I'm showing my dad, look, Dad, this card's worth $100. And he goes, what? And he looked at the card. He goes, "This is worth $100." He goes, "This is what you've been throwing. This is what you've been spending your allowance on. Is this?" And he threw it on the floor, and it dented the corner real bad. And I was like, "What? Why would you do that?" I was so mad at the time, and of course now it doesn't matter. But that's what got me going. And it's funny because he was just saying that it was worth $100 then. He sold it for, and now it's worth 75. And another great lesson about sell when it's hot. I've been saying that for the last year. Some of these guys started doing sports cards, and if you don't watch it, you start investing way more money than you're spending. I mean, than you're ever selling. You're trying to sell all your crap off and keeping all the good stuff. All of a sudden, you're like, "Holy crap, what did I do?" And if you wait and they're not hot anymore, you're in trouble. I mean, like right now, that Lorenz ball is really hot. No one's talking about Zion anymore. If you kept those Zion cards, you lost probably at least 25% of your money that you could have had. So, and then thinking about that, and that's like another thing I always tell people: how much money do you make with that money you sold? If you're doing this right, you should be making money on that too. So someone goes, "Oh," because I've had people go, "You should have held on to those Mahomes cards." I'm like, "Well, I can't disagree, but I didn't know if he's going to get hurt or not. He actually got a concussion. He didn't play very good after that. So who's to say he may not still? He hurt he tore a one of his planters on his foot, and he had to have surgery on it. In football, you get an injury, you lose just a smidgen of your speed, you're out. Baseball, you can make up for it a lot of ways. You get lots of guys get hurt and they come back, and it really doesn't bother them. So I've learned to invest. If you're going to invest in baseball. Investing in football is not a good idea. And if you are, do only quarterbacks. And some of these guys, they were talking about how they were going to invest in running backs now. I'm like, don't, unless you buy, maybe they're rookies and grade them, but that's just any cards. But like, I wouldn't invest in them. Anyway, long story short. So yeah, it's, sell when it's hot. And, okay. And that's the thing I looked up. I had looked it up yesterday. $100 in 1986 is 238 now. So it didn't like, I wish I would have found someone who would have bought it for $50 back then, right? Sorry, Swamp. Thanks for joining. 3 LSU yearbooks yesterday. Yeah, that's awesome. That's great. Yeah, I've heard of people having like Trump, in their yearbook and selling for tons of money. I actually had a friend brought a bunch of stuff by, and most of it was kind of just junk. But she had a couple yearbooks, and she went to what's his name, Jimmy Swaggart's uh, high school. I guess she was part of the whatever, and so he's in the yearbook. I'm like, well, this might sell. And she goes, oh, well, I don't want to sell those. I'm like, well, there's only 2 things that are worth selling in it. Like, but I understand, it's her yearbook. But she brought them over for me to sell, and then now I'm just stuck with a bunch of stuff that won't sell. So, sorry, I'm way back. Pistol Pete. I'm way behind. Sorry, I'm talking. That would be cool. Jack of all trades. I'm gonna write that down. I like information. Thanks for the info. I mean, that's why I watch this. I mean, I watch the storage auction guys, and like you'll hear people go, "Oh, you don't buy from YouTube auctions and this and that." They don't know about sports cards, and just until recently, Pirate Storage Auction Pirate didn't know anything about it. I've been buying stuff from those guys all year. That's like, I got a I got a Derek Jeter rookie in KK's live one day for $135 and a bunch of other stuff. And the other stuff I'll sell that for 300. That Derek Jeter rookie is worth, I don't even know. If I get it graded, it's a 10. So So, don't discount some YouTube auctions. Some of these guys don't know what they're doing. They don't know what they have, and they don't care because they're just going to get that money back and throw it into another unit, and they don't want to do the research, which I understand too. So don't just sleep on it. I don't think. I think it's a good way to source because I'm sitting here. For me, I'm sitting here listing things on my phone. Why not watch an auction, chill with some of the people I like, and while I'm making money, I might see something I can make more money on. And then in 3 or 4 days, it's going to be at my door and I'll be listening to it again while I'm watching the next auction. I mean, I've had some problems with some YouTube auctions, but that happens. Most of the time, I'm never going to lose money. I used to still usually get my money back. Hey, what's up, Renee? Misha. I am so far behind. I apologize. Well, yeah, but I understand. It was well, I never did understand why I threw it on the floor, but it was he came from a way different place, and you got to think about it. When he was a kid, they used to literally put the cards in the bike tires and rip them up, and they didn't care. So that I mean, he didn't really think about it, and honestly, until like 1986, people didn't talk about them being worth money. You know, um, I mean, you could probably still go buy Hank Aaron cards, Babe Ruth cards at that time, and they're probably going really cheap because. So yeah, I mean, I understand. Believe me, I felt like that. Yeah, I always think it's funny too. And this is one of those conspiracy theory crap I don't like um, because I know the truth. They always talked about Major League Baseball wanted to blame Jose Canseco for bringing steroids into baseball. Crap. Um, First off, I love baseball, but they had legal speed greenies that they use for military pilots that get caught behind enemy lines, and it's speed so they don't have to go to sleep, and it's clean so it doesn't like ruin them. Clean as they can be, I guess. They were in the dugouts in the 50s and 60s. So Willie Mays and those guys, they were all around it. They could pop in that crap. That's performance enhancing. Um, so it wasn't like steroids was the only time. I mean, the balls used to be black from spitballs in the 20s. It was like part of the game. People got hit in the face all the time because the ball be so black you couldn't see it. And finally, they had to say, "We can't do that anymore. We're going to kill somebody," because they started throwing harder. So it's been part of the game forever to act like the steroid guys. Anyway, the whole point is this: in 1986, I lived in the town of 2,500 people at that time. Small little county in North Missouri. We had a state football team that went to state and we won. Every one of those guys were on steroids. If that little small town could get steroids, Major League Baseball players had it a long time before that. So to act like Jose Canseco was the one that did it, joke. Don't believe that crap. Sorry, my little spiel. Basketball seems to have less stars, if that makes any sense. So, if you're investing, you're probably investing in. I mean, think back on the last 20 years with Kevin Garnett, LeBron, Jordan. There's just not a lot. So, if you did get those, worth good money. Someone like Carmelo Anthony, who's had a pretty great career when it comes to points and longevity, but he hasn't won a lot of championships or anything. His cards aren't really worth anything, and he's like a top 5 player for the last. I mean, for the duration of how long he's been playing, 2003, I think. So, I mean, so it seems like baseball, there's more players that you can get that will be good, if that makes any sense. But the thing with baseball is it takes longer because there's the minor leagues. Even a good player like right now, Bobby Witt Jr., really good. He's probably going to be in the minor leagues for at least 2 years before he even makes the majors. So, but that makes it easier to invest. So you can buy up their stuff cheap while they're in the minors because no one's expecting to. And then when they hit the majors, boom. So that's what happened to me. the last. This is a good one. The last Patrick Mahomes autograph I sold. What I did with most of that money was buy Bobby Witt Jr. Rookies and autographs. Right when it's hard to explain, but when they have a break and they release a product, about a month after they release it, all those guys that bought up card breaks are trying to sell their stuff back. So they'll be selling. I bought so many Bowman Chrome rookies of Bobby Witt Jr. so cheap because people are trying to get their money back so they can buy the next break that's getting ready to come out for the next kind of cards. I think it was Bowman's Best. And so you can find these great wholesale deals right afterwards. So I spent all that money on that. And I found that you can have a $2,000 autograph, but it's way easier to split it out, that $2,000 into smaller things, and they'll grow even better. And you're going to find people that'll buy the $50 to $100 cards faster than you will the $2,000 cards. So your ROI is going to be better. People would rather spend $50 than $2,000. That's a lot bigger commitment. So, that's why I started doing things like that. And so, when people come at me like, I can't believe you sold those. I'm like, yeah, okay. I don't, I'm always moving forward. Kent's in here. Hey, what's up? Oh, I didn't know that was you. So that, yeah, that was just because of the pandemic, because of the basketball cards, and everybody just turned their attention on because they had nothing else to do. And I mean, Gary V, you got to be careful what he's saying. He's promoting himself by telling everybody what to do. So he was, another reason why I sold a bunch of my cards is I'm sitting there thinking, we're going into this pandemic, people are buying, worried about toilet paper. I'm like, I want to get rid of some of those cards, because what happens if they go in half in value real fast? And then Gary Vee goes out and goes, I'm collecting baseball cards. And so boom, everything went crazy. And, like if you remember, it was Mosaic that went really nuts. Mosaic's not even a very good brand inside of Panini. It's usually not it just happened to be it was timing. And so it was so overhyped. I kept telling everybody, sell it, sell it. Like someone the other day told me they picked up a blaster pack. What should I do with it? Open it? And I'm like, sell that blaster pack. People pay $80 online for a blaster pack. There's probably not very good cards in there because blasters don't really have really good autographs in them. They're not even guaranteed. You got some money in there, most likely, especially if they're King Griffey Jr. for sure. Beckett, tough stuff prices, guys, for my Bible. Yeah, tough stuff. I remember I still got all my Beckett's. I got the Bo Jackson Beckett. I need to go get that. I have it in my shop. But yeah, I've always been that guy. I always thought I'm going to keep all those Beckett. I've got them all written down in there. I've got all the ones highlighted. I'm the original dork for sure. Good God, I'm behind. Sorry. Hey, Tracy. Happy birthday again. Thanks for being in our community. I can't wait for Pete. Oh, I'm glad you guys got him. That's so awesome. So awesome. Yeah, but be careful because they don't know what they're doing. They might say something's an autograph and it's not. It happened to me not too long ago, and it's a sweet lady. She didn't mean to. And now here's another one. Let me. I'll be right back. So, how to tell if you have a real autograph on a photo? If I can find a light. Crap, why was a black light? Well, anyway, if you shine your light on the autograph on a picture, the gloss will be matted by the autograph because of the pen ink. If it's a reproduction, a reprint, it'll still be glossy over the whole thing because it's just a picture of the autograph. So that's an easy way for you to tell, because some people will say it's an autograph because it is, but they don't know it's not a real one or not. If you're not in the business, you just don't know. So be careful. And if you are buying one, ask them to do that for you. Because I've been burned out before, but I also knew that even if they weren't autographs, that I'd be able to sell that for over the amount of money that I still bought it for. So the times that that's happened to me, it hadn't really hurt me. But if you're doing it, make sure, right? Hey, Danica. Oh yeah, it wasn't very good. I tried to sing Crazy Train. Don't go back. It's bad. Oh, I know. I'm looking forward to some new recipes. Society. Don't listen to them, right? Ooh. What kind of casserole? Yeah. Yeah. I mean, that's what people don't realize that they were doing. They've been cheating so long in baseball. Look at NASCAR. Everybody cheats to get the edge. It's really, are we that surprised? Tom Brady deflating the ball because it helps him. It's not him. People kept talking about it. He wants his receivers to catch it better. It had nothing to do with him throwing it. Um, but I mean, can I blame? I mean, is that cheating? I guess. I mean, there's probably a lot of things people do to try to get at edges. That's why we work out and different things. Yeah, agreed. I need some more videos, Danica. Yeah. Here's a good one, fishing picking. I bet you didn't know. Babe Ruth started spring training. They never had a spring training before Babe Ruth. And the story is it's because I'm down here in Missouri. There's a place in North Arkansas called Eureka Springs. It has all these hot springs, and they have these bass houses with, they're supposed to heal your body or whatever. Well, that's what Babe Ruth would do. Before spring training, before the season started, he would come down to Eureka Springs, bring some of his buddies, get away from his wife, and come down here and free for all and get as drunk as he could and probably do whatever anybody would back then when they didn't have media and you had a bunch of money. Um, and after, I don't remember, I think it was 2 or 3 years of doing that, there became more and more people doing it. And the MLB realized, I don't think they called it MLB back then, but the Baseball Association knew, they're like, okay, we need to do something because these guys we can't control them. So we need to organize something. So that's when they started doing spring training, basically to keep Babe Ruth out of trouble. Story, I don't know if it's completely true, but I wouldn't be surprised. Yeah, I'm a baseball freak from way back, for sure. Hey, UJ, what up, my friend? Good to see you. Service for finding specific cards? Just holler at me. I'll tell you, especially for you, UJ. Went to school with him back in Marceline, Missouri. Up in Minnesota. Bet you're ready for the freaking cold to be done with this year. Lurker. You don't really know who Gary Vee is? Oh, he's the original. He's the original garage sale guy. He still likes to go garage sailing. I like him. It's just be careful. He's he's so good. He promotes what he wants to be. He'll go buy a bunch of NFTs and then spend a ton of money on it because he has the money for it, and then go promote them, tell everybody to go buy them. So he's making the price go high because he's already put his money in it. This is just genius. And then he moves on to his next thing, and he'll be telling you in 2 weeks that he's all into. Watch, he'll say he's all into Hall of Fame rookies now. You watch, it'll move that way. I've been trying to tell everybody to start buy Hall of Famers. They ain't gonna. most of them are dead. Most of them can't sign autographs anymore, and they can't slap their wife anymore. So they're not going to get in a lot of dumbass trouble, driving drunk and hurting some kid. Goulash. Oh yeah, at least they probably pay him. I mean, I wouldn't really be surprised. Ooh, good question. Autographed guitars or music memorabilia in your collection? I have a Greg Allman autograph, and my collection is records. I collect a lot of vinyl. Um, and for me, I would collect an autographed guitar, but guitars are too important to play for me. Um, Eventually, yes, absolutely, because I think it'll move that way. You know, as much as I like sports, what does that mean? What I mean, what are they really doing for anybody except a little entertainment? People that do music, they change people's lives and with what they do and stuff. So I'm uh, more into that myself. So, thanks for making me actually think about that a little bit, honestly. Yeah, those print autos, and they're just not going to look and they're not going to pay attention because they hope for the best and they don't want to know. So be careful. This is my rule of thumb on YouTube auctions. Why do I West Side Gary and Who's Tom Cruise is going to be doing an auction today? They don't sell a lot of stuff on eBay. They sell some stuff. They understand it. They use it to comp, but they don't sell a lot. If you, I mean, I don't want to name names, but there's some guys with some pretty good, decent auctions, but they're selling everything on eBay. So they're putting things in lots that they can't get to sell. I mean, and they might throw in a thing here and there, but you're going to have some high competition on it. So just be careful if they tell you they're on eBay. If you see they're putting out what's sold videos and then they have auctions, are they going to put stuff in auctions they know they can sell fast on eBay? Probably not. So just be careful of it. And it's not like they're being mean about it. It is what it is. Don't. Yeah, I love Crazy Train. I love the aboard. Hey, what's up, Larry? Thanks for jumping in. Appreciate you, brother. There was a guy that did that. You're right. I can't remember his name. There is definitely a story where a guy did that. He said he did it. Um, who was it? David Wells pitched a World Series game drunk, and he said his idol was Babe Ruth. He said he always kind of wanted to do it, and he pitched one of his best games of his entire career for the Yankees. So, and then okay, here's a good point. The best pitchers, if you watch, the best pitchers will be the one that forgot the last pitch. Even if he gave up 3 home runs in a row, he forgot about it. He's worried about this pitch. So in a weird way, if you were drunk, it'd be easier to just forget about it and go on, whatever. You know what I mean? So in a way, it might be able to help your mental state. If it doesn't hurt your performance because if you're drinking too much, I guess. The money you make on cards. No, that's fine. I don't need him to validate me. We got to be careful looking for validation. You know what I mean? But that's, he's in a different place. He doesn't think about things like that. But, he buys lots of stocks. He understands things. So he listens. He doesn't. My dad's a good guy. We've all got things, and that's being a preacher's son. People would come up to me and because they always see my dad at his best, and they'd be like, your dad's so awesome. I'm like, glad you think so. When I was a kid, because all I saw was getting told, and but half of the things he should have been saying because I was stupid. So, looking back on it, I'm glad I had a dad that was a dad and wasn't always my friend. Um, that wouldn't work very good, Yeah, thanks. Appreciate that. They're always a fun time. Even if you don't like auctions and you don't like anything they're selling, they're fun to hang out with. If anybody's bored and wants to chit chat, jump on in. Unless you're naked and I won't let you in. I've seen that before. I was watching Funky Flunky one day and he brought someone in. It was just like some dude showing his junk. I'm like, and he goes, "Oh, I didn't know I didn't know he was going to show that." I'm like, I think he did. I think he did it on purpose because he didn't react. I'm like, what was that? Let's stop watching that crap. Do you have any original record vinyl from Jimi Hendrix, the Beatles, the Rolling Stones in your collection? Yes, I have some good ones. All three. My favorites are the Pink Floyd and Led Zeppelin, though. And the Beatles, it goes, to me, it's Beatles, Led Zeppelin, Pink Floyd. Everything else is kind of like, I don't know. Those three are just so amazing to me. It's probably just how I grew up and everything, but nice. I wish we had an estate sale club. We don't have crap right now.
Hey, hey, Bluegrass, how are you?
I'm good. How you doing, Anthony?
When it comes to your record collection, are you more of a like heavy metal vinyl collector, or are you more like soft rock, like the Beatles and the Rolling Stones and stuff like that? Or
I guess it depends on what you call soft rock, but I don't consider Beatles being really soft rock. Some of the early stuff was probably pop. It was poppy, of course, but Beatles, Zeppelin, Pink Floyd for me.
do you
Um,
have any of the vinyls from when the like AC/DC and Guns N' Roses started out?
I have a bunch of AC/DC. I don't have any Guns N' Roses. I do like Guns N' Roses, but I mean,
Oh, my
mainly
mistake.
just because I was a kid and it was popular at the time. Brings back memories, but
Do you have
I don't know.
Aerosmith or Journey?
Oh yeah, I got a lot of Journey. I love Journey. I got some Aerosmith, but mainly AC/DC. I don't know. They're so awesome to me. Being the guitar guys, their guitar stuff's so great. So, what do you like to collect?
See, I've never got into hardcore collecting and stuff like that because it's too much of an expensive hobby.
Hmm?
To be honest,
Sure.
people don't realize you have to go into the stores to find all this stuff, and sometimes it takes up all your time and stuff. And sometimes the vinyl records I or guitars I've been looking at are super expensive. I'm not paying 10 grand for a vinyl record, an old.
Well, that's why most of mine are from YouTube auctions. So I've been paying very little for them. I got lucky. You go and you make sure you're watching Who's Tom Cruise and West Side Gary tonight. Who's Tom Cruise has some of the best vinyl, and he's selling it for really good prices. So if you like vinyl, that's where you need to be. He sells a lot of
Surprised
45s.
you yourself, I'm surprised you don't collect guitars. I know
I
you
play
like
them.
them, but I'm surprised you haven't tried to find like autograph, like the Jimi Hendrix guitars from Woodstock, or Bob Dylan's
No,
guitars from when he played in.
that's not my thing.
Okay,
I have my guitars are made to play, and if there's an autograph on it, I'm going to be worried about it. And I'm not the kind of guy that's going to guitar needs to be played. I don't. It'd be like autographing a car and then just sitting there looking at it. card needs to be used. And so that's why I buy autographs for stuff like this, where you can frame it where it wants to be put up on a wall kind of deal. That's how I look at it. But I understand if I had unlimited money, yeah, sure. But for my for where I'm at in my life, it doesn't make much sense for me. But
Do
I
you have
understand.
any
I mean, it'd be
autograph?
cool.
Do you have the Murderers Row baseball by chance? Murderers Row, the Yankees.
I wouldn't be talking to you probably if I had that one. You're talking about Lou Gehrig and
Babe
Babe
Ruth.
Ruth. One of my favorites is Joe DiMaggio. That's probably my favorite baseball player. He's one of the only autographs that I really want. And Pat D snuck in on me one time and got a Joe DiMaggio autograph baseball from me. And it didn't have a COA, so I would have bid higher. I think I bid 150. I
With
didn't want to
these
go any higher
classic,
because
these old players, is it hard to authenticate their? Because back then they didn't have these authentication
no,
things.
you send it in the JSA and they'll authenticate it for you, and then you can send it in the PSA.
No, to make it sure it's authentic. I'm saying because they didn't. How can you authenticate? Because some of these guys aren't alive to authenticate it. The perfect
It's
example
not.
is
That's not how they authenticate it. They authenticate it by looking at the autograph.
because
They don't
they
do it
can.
by asking the guy or anything or having him do it for them. It's a service, and it's not perfect, I'm sure, but you can tell by autographs, and
No,
people's
because
autographs change
I've
over
heard
time.
rumors that uh, Babe Ruth had a guy who used to copy his. He didn't always stay around to do autographs, or DiMaggio or Mantle didn't always stay around to do. So he had a guy who copied their what is it called, their autograph or their signature and stuff like that, and signed it on the ball and stuff like that. So they had to. How do you make sure it's not the guy they used to uh, do their autograph signings for them if they didn't want to do the signings back then and stuff like that?
Just like
How
I
do you?
said, you send it into JSA, you get it authenticated by them. They put a hologram on it and say it is. And even if it isn't, you've already got it authenticated. It doesn't matter at that point. So that's what you do. I have
Even
a
though
Willie May.
it's not really, even though it's not really Mantle or DiMaggio's autograph, it's someone else's that
Well, at
he
that point,
actually.
it is because they authenticated it. So it
Well,
doesn't matter if it wasn't or doesn't. But that's what they do for a living. That's what they do all the time. That's their job. So they study autographs. They get uh, like this. This is what I do. I have jeweler's glasses, so I can look at autographs and see how good they are. I look for scratches on the card before I send it in to get graded, and they do the same thing. They know their stuff. They have the original autographs from these people, and they compare them and match them. That's what they do. That's their job.
how
So
can
if
you
you don't
authenticate a
trust them, then
ball
you just don't
because
trust
it's
them.
leather? How do you, for baseballs or footballs, how do you authentic, or like basketball autograph, like stuff like that? How do you authenticate a, like, how do you, because
Just like I said,
basically,
JSA,
Jesse,
same thing.
is it harder to authenticate it because it's on a piece of leather, basically, or?
It's not harder, but I don't like those autographs. And that's why I always say you want it on a picture or you want it on a card because it always looks better is better. You don't want someone to sign a glove and it just doesn't look as good. You don't want um,
A baseball or something like that.
baseballs are better though. They actually that white background, it comes out, it takes the ink well. So those end up being good. And a lot of times they're a baseball that was used at that time. I have one that's a all 500 home run guys. It was back before all these other guys started doing it. And it's Mike Schmidt, Ernie Banks, Eddie Matthews, um, and then Willie Mays and Hank
Hank
Aaron.
Aaron.
So I have all five of those autographs on one ball.
So wait, Mantle and Marison
They
Mantle
weren't
were
alive at that time to sign.
500 home run hitters.
They weren't alive then to do that.
Oh, I didn't know that. I always thought they were 500. Their total home runs were 500. 500.
When this ball was done, they weren't alive still.
Oh, okay.
So it was the guys that were alive that had 500 home runs when this ball was done.
Is
So
it harder? So you're saying it's for the a basketball, if a team like a legendary team like the Celtics of the '80s or the Lakers of the '80s were to sign a ball, it's harder to authenticate that because the ball has a dark background. It's a
no,
little
it's going to sell better because it looks better.
that
Well,
level.
everything's about what it looks like. Like I was saying earlier, it's hard to take a good picture of this autograph because it's a clear autograph, so it doesn't sell as fast because it's hard to get it to look good. It all comes back to looking good. When I was a bartender, there's a reason why you throw fruit all over it. Girls think it looks good if it has cherries, limes, and a frilly umbrella on the side. Then it has to taste good because it looks like it tastes good. You learn that real quick. It could be
Yeah.
the worst drink ever. Look at the Cosmopolitan. Sex in the City made that thing popular. It's the worst drink of all time, but everybody come in and order it, thinking it's going to be good because it has a red color to it and had a lemon that you would throw in there, so it had this contrast of red and yellow. So it has to be good. And they get it and go, "This sucks." I'm like, "I know. I told you that before you ordered it, but you did it anyway." You know. So there's a lot of things about human nature. You have to understand that, or else
Do you have
you're gonna.
any autographed rookie cards for hockey, like Wayne Gretzky or anything like that,
I got a lot of Wayne Gretzky cards, but I don't have any autographs. Um,
or Mario Lemieux?
I got some cards, but I don't do autographs of hockey. It's not my
Okay.
thing. I put mine into baseball because I know baseball better. But if I find a lot of Wayne Gretzky. I've been buying up Wayne Gretzky. I've been buying up Michael Jordan, Shaquille O'Neal, any Hall of Famers. I just buying up
And
because
Kobe?
I
Do
see
you have a lot
everybody's
of Kobe cards? Kobe rookie cards?
not rookies, but I got a lot of his cards.
Hmm.
Yeah, because once again, they're not making new Kobe cards. They're not making, you know. I'm super shocked that Michael Jordan cards you can still get his fourth year cards for like almost next to nothing. It's crazy. The instant he dies, they'll be worth 100 times more. So I've been buying up. I've just been buying them up ever since Zion. Everybody's throwing a bunch of money into that guy. I've just been buying up Hall of Fame because that just doesn't make any sense to me.
Do you have any what rookie cards do you have
Uh,
for baseball,
I
like
have a lot.
for Hall of Famers specifically?
That could take a while. I could probably do a
Do
show
you have any
sometime on
Mantle
that
or
one.
Mantle or DiMaggio?
No, no, those are really hard to find. You would have had to been digging hard back in the '80s to get those. Um, and once you
Do you
got to the
have any,
'90s, you ain't gonna find those.
even Hank Aaron,
I have one Hank Aaron card.
but
It's
not the
all
rookie?
no, no. Yeah, that's a lot harder. That's what I'm saying. It's harder to get those cards. That's why people should be buying those cards, not all these new things. And they put too much stock into guys that haven't even done anything yet. This kid's 19 or 20 years old, and I mean, even at the time, you could buy LeBron cards, who guy that's been playing forever, won a bunch of championships, and they were going for Zion was going for more money. So you just got to be smart about you better know the sport a little bit, or at least some sports, because otherwise, you're going to get screwed.
Is a Barry Bonds rookie card hard to find?
No, nope. People are giving those things away. It's like Mark McGuire. I mean, because think about it. No one knows they're going to get in the Hall of Fame. So why invest in someone if they don't get in the Hall of Fame? Uh, Hall of Fame. There's a lot of people that only collect Hall of Fame. You put a Kurt Warner. Here's a good one. Kurt Warner, one of the best quarterbacks ever. You can go buy his rookies right now for almost next to nothing. Here's another bolo to go if you really want to go invest in some things. Hakeem Olajuwon. You can buy Hakeem Olajuwon cards for rookies and autographs for really next to nothing. And he's like probably one of the second most dominant player in the 90s behind Jordan. Jordan said, I don't want to face that guy. Literally. He's like, that's the guy I don't want to face. Remember when Jordan retired? They won 2 championships in a row when he retired. People don't, if you want to invest in someone, invest in Hakeem Olajuwon. That guy was unbelievable. Like this Magic Johnson autograph. I got this in a bunch of things for $75.
Jesus.
I mean, The picture alone's worth 40. It's
Is
got the
that
COA on it.
wait? Is that picture against the Celtics?
And see, this is certified.
Mm-hmm.
No, that's him and his Michigan State, Lakers, and the USA. And it's got some in the background too. It's kind of cool picture. It's got like him cutting down the hoop
The national
in college
championship.
because he beat Larry Bird. So like yeah. So that's just kind of what I do. I don't know. So do you collect, or are you just thinking about collecting?
Honestly, I've been like I said, I changed my mind a whole bunch of times because I've seen how much sometimes people spend so much money on collecting and sometimes they don't get a return, so I'm hesitant and stuff like that. I've
It's like
seen
everything.
hmm?
That's like stock. But if you don't move, you got to spend money to make money,
Mm-hmm.
or else. But you have to study first. That's why I always tell people to study as much as they can. But
Yeah, yeah, and for me, like I said, I would do sports and maybe some music memorabilia. Like that's what I would collect: sports stuff. And does music stuff sell fast, in your opinion?
no, that's why it's a good investment because I think in the long run, music will be more valued by people down the road. But that's just my opinion. So my opinion's right a lot of times, but not always. But
Do you have
I'm
any
usually pretty good about. I'm
diecast
really
models
pretty
like
good
yourself?
about seeing about 5 months in ahead, and I take advantage of it. Kind of like people do with stock. They see how it's going, take a chance, and then you have to sell when it's high. Though most people won't. Like the people that tell me, "Oh, I wouldn't have sold them a homes card." They never would sell it. They hold on to it to the day they died, and it never did anything for them because they don't want to let go of their precious. You can't be that way. You can't hold things forever, and especially if you have credit card debt and things like that, what get rid of it, you know what I mean?
I, I watch some of these shows on TV, like the bluegrass, the picker guys, like the American picker guys,
Mm-hmm.
and they found a car, 1960. No, it wasn't 1960. It was 1924 A model, Ford A model, or whatever it was called. Do you know the cars I'm talking about? The old cars from the 20s and 30s. Have you ever seen
No.
those?
Yeah, I don't
They
watch those shows.
oh
those
you
shows
don't.
those shows they pick and choose what's good. They get told what to come get. They don't really find that stuff. People call them. So it's a
It's
show.
not as
It's
accurate as you think.
well it's like anything. You might find some bolos, what to look for if you go to a bar and you happen to see it. But how many times do you think you're gonna go looking and you're gonna find a Model A car?
Yeah.
How useful is this for you? And that's why I don't pay attention to that kind of crap, because it's not helping you to find
It's
anything. This can help you find
it's
stuff.
not as
You can go
reliable
you can go on
as
eBay,
your
right? You can go on eBay right now, buy card breaks and get autographs and make money. You're not going to go find a Model A. So it's not useful. It's just good TV for me.
so big stuff like guitar autographed guitars or cars or something. It's harder to find because people usually keep them for a while. Is what you're saying before they sell it.
No, it's just there's just not that many of them and no one really wants them. What are you going to do with the 1920s Model A car except look at it? You're going to drive it
Yeah.
around?
No one's gonna drive that car. They're just
Right.
get.
So what is it useful for unless you're a millionaire that has just too much money? So then you're playing a game that you're going to get screwed on, in my opinion. Well, brother, I appreciate you coming on, but see if anybody else wants to come on. And thanks for joining me, and I appreciate it.
Have a good day.
You too, man. Fruitcake tonight. Cosmo. Oh yeah, it's cranberry juice and vodka. Two dry things. Big surprise, right? That it's terrible. I used to try to convince girls not to do it, and then they would drink it, tell me they didn't want it. I'd have to remake them another drink. It wasted my time. It wasted my company's money. I was like, why? Why'd you do that? But that's the power of marketing and power of TV to get you convinced that it tastes good because these girls liked it. Like I said, when it's red, people think, "Ooh, it must be sweet and tasty." But I would, yeah, yeah. This is something I always did to try to get tips because girls were usually the ones that came up and got get shots or be like 21st birthday party or whatever, and I'd make up some dumb shot. And every time they would ask what the name of it was because they thought that they'd be able to go tell the next bartender, "I want this," and it would be the same. I would always go. They go, what's the name of this one? I go, it's called the panty dropper, and they would be like, "Oh," and I just felt like because it's usually true. Yeah, Harry, did you get anything today in Facebook land? Freaking Facebook Marketplace master. I need to get back on there, and it's gonna start going this next couple weeks. Um, I am frustrated though that yard sale treasure map is done. I bet Facebook comes out with something to try to combat that because I know there's a lot of people doing like garage sale groups and so they're I've noticed recently that people are doing that more than putting on Craigslist. So I think there was some that we were missing anyway. So maybe it might end up working out better for us all. Thanks for everybody that came in and chit chatting with me. Um, this is my break before after I get done eating to before I start listing crazy. I have so, I have so many gaming systems and stuff to get up and get out. I got a bunch of game cubes and stuff, and so I appreciate everybody for jumping in and. I appreciate Anthony for coming on for a minute. Um, I love questions. I love answer some questions, and I don't mind sharing what I know. And if I seem combative at all, I just want people to. I don't want to come off that way. But there's some things that just. Um, okay, here's another one. You know that show? What's that stupid show? Pawn Stars. You know how big Pawn Stars got. I had a buddy that ran a pawn shop in town, and see you, Jen. Thank you. Um, and so his dream was to go out to Las Vegas and to see the Pawn Star guys and see the setup and all that stuff. He was so excited when he went out to Vegas that first time. So he went there. And he was like, "What?" He's like, "It's the smallest little." He goes, "What you see is what it is. That's all there is." He goes, "It's a studio. It's not even a pawn shop." And he's like, "It's awful." He's like, "There was nothing in there hardly." And and then when I first started doing this, I noticed that there was guys saying that I was in a chat once, and they were like, "Yeah, I had this really awesome item on eBay, and I got a message from Pawn Stars, and they wanted me to bring out my item just so I can come into the show and then tell them no, I don't want to sell it, and then they'd fly me back home." So they were just bringing in people randomly because they had nice items. They weren't there in Vegas, just happened to like bring it by. This is all planned. So be careful of those shows. They're going to show you, and even like the storage unit guys, you catch the right people and they'll tell you 90% of the units are terrible. 90% of the stuff in units are terrible, but you get some home runs. Don't think that you can start a whole business, quit your job, and start doing storage units. You're going to be in deep, you know, tourist trap. Yeah, I can't wait for the interview tonight. Is that 9 o'clock, Tracy? If anybody could throw that, if you want to throw that up, that'd be awesome. I love the Ronnie Hart one was great too, and I just love something about Pete, the way he just talks. One thing I love about Pete is when he has. I think I've said this before, but I'll say it again. How many times you see him have that camera up there and he's negotiating with these people, bringing in stuff? He's not. He's not making any money on that stuff half the time. He's doing them a favor almost every time. You can tell he just has a big heart. I mean, I know if I was him, I'd be like $5, and he's like, I'll give you 12 and I can probably sell it for 20 in the store, and I'm like, he's just being nice. Um, so I just appreciate him. And I love the whole Adrian story. And it's cool that he's, he just know he's smart. He knows what he's doing. 9 Central. Okay. Everybody needs to come watch that. Tommy Bernard, make sure you're signed up or subscribe to him. But yeah, Tracy, are you putting out a casserole thing tonight, or is that you're just making casserole tonight? What kind of casserole? I miss mom's cooking. Mm. It's funny when you're a kid, you're like, God, I don't want tuna casserole again. I don't want meatloaf. God, I'm sick of it. Chili again. Now it's like, wish someone would make me a casserole and I could just walk in and eat it. Oh, Pete, is Tuesday. Oh, I'm sorry. Okay. Tonight is thrift. Oh yeah, you said that. He's a family man, so he doesn't do weekends. Makes sense. Thrift the life. Why do I not know thrift the life? Cool. I like finding out some new ones. I'm the same way. I'm just glad that Tommy moved it back a little bit. Because I think he used to come on at 10 all the time. I would, when you're mowing early in the morning, I'm getting up at 5. It's hard to stay up past 10. I just keep passing out. Ooh, that sounds, holy crap. That's going to be good. You got to do like, I thought about this once when I was watching your thing. You got to do a pairing, like, and what good dessert would be after that? You know what I mean? Like, I think that'd be kind of fun too. You probably already done it, but that's a good one. Philly cheesesteak. That was always a standby at Cheddar's, and people are like, well, I don't know what to get. I'm like, $8.99 for a huge Philly cheesesteak. The mushrooms are like sauteed and like marinated. I'm like, get that. And they'd always be happy, and they take half of it home. Of course, it was Cheddar's. It's not like it was, a real Philly cheesesteak or anything. But Harry's back. 3-inch high peanut butter pie. Yeah. Uh, Peanut butter is one of my favorite things. When I'm, this make me sound crazy, but when I'm running and doing my crazy exercise in the summer, I'm pounding peanut butter because you gotta take in a lot of calories because you're burning so many. So like I actually have to like eat a lot. And so that's my best way to get quick sugar without like bad sugars. You know what I mean? At least for me. But yeah, I like to. What I do is like a little Stacy's pita chips. It's like the one thing I give myself, and I'll never take away from myself, is chips. But I like to get the baked organic chips that aren't. At least if I can eat a whole bag of those, I'm not going to feel sick. You know what I mean? But they're still not perfect for you, of course. They're processed and they got salt, but we need some salt. But I use one of those little chips, put a little peanut butter, and I have these dates that I get dehydrated, but they're not really dehydrated. They're still fresh, but they're anyway, and they're organic. And I put a little bit of that on top of the peanut butter and eat it like that. Oh, perfect to grab a bunch of calories like when I need it. You don't? I don't mess with it. That's why early in the year I don't start mowing until about 10 most of the time. And it's not like you can't, but you're basically creating 25% more work for yourself. It takes longer, looks terrible. The grass clumps together. If you happen to drive on a sidewalk and your tires will be in that grass, and good luck ever trying to get that grass off of the sidewalk. So there's a lot of things, and then your whole setup is just you want to go right to car wash to rinse it off. So it's just you're almost wasting your time. You might as well, and that's what's nice about reselling. I can resell in the morning, go out at 10, get done by 2 or 3, be done with it. Hell no. I mean, I understand why you'd say that, but yeah, I'd rather do it that way. Just sling it, make it look like crap, than to do that because I don't. I mean, you're still going to suck up, because what's great about a mower is it has such good suction, the best mowers. So it's just going to suck the water from the ground and throw it out anyway. So it's not going to. Never ate a date. I love. Oh, I'll show you. They come in a package like this. It's Pakistani dates, as they're called, or organic. It's only $4 a pound, so it's not like it's really expensive. They just kind of look like that. They're so sweet and good. It reminds me of like a fig Newton kind of in the middle, like a somewhat flavor like that. Of course, fig, but it's not so sweet because the fig Newtons, they add sweetness to it. You don't need to add sweet. Um, but then also the peanut butter I get is fresh ground, organic, and it's just, oh my god! Once you have fresh ground and it's all peanuts and not, um, added oils and all that crap like you get in the store. Oh, it's so good. I recommend that if you can find a place. But yeah, mowing's not. Uh, it's tough life. I got called yesterday. My biggest. I had a real estate agent that I had 20 yards with, and he cut back to 2. I'm like, excuse me. It was right before my season starts. But you can always pick up yards every year, but it's just going to make it a little harder. But since I have rezone, I'll just throw myself more into rezone. It doesn't really matter. I power wash too, so power washing makes me way more money. I'm getting choppy. Oh crap! My internet. Okay, well I better sign off anyway. Everybody's taking off. Thanks for everybody that did join today. I hope people might get something out of the autographs. If they do get one, maybe they won't hold on to it if it's not a good one. Um, um, hopefully got a little something out of it. Hopefully no one listens to me sing Crazy Trade at the beginning. Holy crap. That sounds so good. Ugh. When I stopped drinking, that was the tough one. Wine and blue cheese. And I don't know if there's anything better than dark red, bold red, dry wine and blue cheese with crackers. I used to love going to, been to Europe and back. You go to wine tastings, and it's just so good. Well, thank you. That's a great tip. I put that one in there too. That's a good one. Do like a little appetizer series. Well, thanks for everybody for joining. Appreciate you, Harry. Jennifer, of course, always. I don't know why you pay attention to me. Tracy, Fishing and Picking, what's your first name? I always forget. It takes me a while. Anthony Pisano that came in. I appreciate you coming in, chit-chatting with me. Larry, Swan, Danica. I appreciate everybody. But grind on, friends. I'll see you guys in the chats. And appreciate everybody for joining. Later.